And when did you start having panic?
I mean, it's usually 99% of my life I'm fine, but it's really when I start to live an unhealthy lifestyle, when I don't eat right, when I don't sleep. These are all elements to filming the Jersey Shore for months at a time. Which
is what you do on the set of Jersey Shore. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you drink all the time. And you know, my patients all get panic attacks when they go on and off alcohol and drugs.
Right.
That's a good way to kindle panic attacks.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that stuff in a bad way, it works. You know what I mean? It suppresses it if you're ever having it. So
social anxiety particularly.
Right.
Then you go out and party and you can be socially fluid.
But I never did that, so instead of drinking it away, I would just deal with it, and it would make it continue on to be a vicious cycle that would last for weeks or maybe months. That was the problem. So, you know, most of the time I'm fine, but once it starts, it picks up this pattern, and it can really spiral me into, you know, a bad place.
Full-on panic.
Yeah, well, you know, it manifests differently in everybody. I think people can have a panic attack where, you know, your heart's racing, you get the shakes and the jitters, but you can also just be feel disconnected, you know what I mean? You could feel depressed. And I'm like telling my doctor, I'm like, you know, I have depression, but really he's just like, it's just anxiety, you know what I mean? It's just taking on a different form.
I had panic attacks when I was about your age. How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Yeah, so I was a little younger, maybe 20, starting a panic attack. I mean, severe, like where you can't get out of bed, disabling panic attack. And when you say you feel disconnected, you feel depersonalized, like like you don't even exist.
Right.
That's
like
part of panic.
Kind of like you're looking at yourself from the outside.
Exactly.
And that brings this whole other form of anxiety because now you're like, why am I not myself anymore?
Well, now you're panicking about the panic.
Exactly.
Which is really spirals.
The worst thing you can do.
Well, it's good times, though. Hey, big brother. Been there. Let's go to some calls. This is Heidi in California. Heidi.
Hi, how are you, Dr. Drew?
We are great. You're on with Vinny.
Hi, Vinny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
That's it, Heidi? You got nothing else for us?
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous.
Go right ahead.
Well, I've read that you've dealt with anxiety issues since you were a child. What was your first memory of experiencing anxiety?
Well, I had my first full-blown attack when I was in high school. I was sitting at the desk, and all of a sudden my heart started racing. Everything started closing in around me, and I was like, "What did I just have a heart attack?"
Right. You feel like you're dying, having a heart attack, or going crazy. Those are the symptoms of a panic attack.
Right. But you know, it all goes back to your childhood too, of when you started to feel anxious. Anxiety is a natural thing that humans have. You know, that's how we evolved. That's how we are, you know, we think things through, and sometimes my mind just thinks things through a lot. So I remember when I was a kid, I was waiting for my mom to come home when she was working late, and you know, I was like, oh my God, what can happen to her? Is she okay? Did something happen to her getting in the car? I was a little kid, but those are actually early, I think, onsets of anxiety.
Absolutely. It's called catastrophizing. You catastrophize. Oh, they're going to die, or something's happening when they're outside of my control.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's, I can relate. Let's go to Kathy in Canada. Kathy, what's up?
Drew, hi, Vinny.
Hey,
Kathy.
Vinny, do you regret now, because you had to leave the season for a bit to go home and, you know, just collect yourself, so to speak. Do you regret now, like if you could change it, would you not have started the Jersey Shore? Would you have just, you know, if you could have foreseen the future and noticed that your health may have got at risk?
Well, Kathy, I'm going to stop. I'm going to interrupt you and say you were actually a law student to begin with, weren't you?
I was going to law school.
You're going to law school, and you were a assemblyman intern or something?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you were
political science major.
On your way to a career in politics.
Yeah.
And I don't quite make the connect over to Jersey Shore, but God bless you for having done so. And by the way, you know, part of having anxiety is, you know, there's sort of an obsessional quality to it, too. You can study a lot and work at your schoolwork, and you know, you worry about those things, and you get those things done.
Exactly.
You're perfect for a lawyer.
I have a 3.9 GPA. You know, I'm a great student because of that. You know.
Do you regret having done this?
Oh, no, to answer your question, I'm sorry. To answer your question, not really. I mean, I had anxiety when I went away to college. It's really, for me, it's any overbearing, life-changing situation that I'm in. And I'm going to face them in life, and everyone's going to face them in life. So I'm glad that I do it. And every time I overcome one, it's a sign of strength, and it actually inspires me to do other things. Like, that's why I have a book out. So I kind of use the anxiety as fuel to do other things. So I don't regret it at all. Plus, that's a very, very, like, people have to know, it's a very small part of my life and other people's lives. There are some people that can't get out of bed any day because they're depressed or have anxiety. For me, it's a very small part, and you know, there's a lot of fun of being on the Jersey Shore as well.
It got that bad for me. I was paralyzed for a while, a few weeks. I remember when I was at 20 or something.